Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to the Southern Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Matt, and join with me tonight we have Johnny and Will. How are y'all doing, fellas?
I'm angry.
You're angry?
I'm
What
angry.
you angry about?
I suck at magic.
You suck at
Well,
magic? Well,
I think we all knew that.
I over the weekend went to a little standard event because I was like, oh, I got some time off. I'll go play some standard. And I get over there and I'm like, okay, I got my little Golgari deck. I forgot to put Land War Elves in it, but other than that, it's fine. And I went 0-2 and I lost to Skeletons.
Skeletons.
They played. So here's the exact sequence that happened. They're on the play. They play a skeleton that's a 2/2 that whenever you commit a crime, you can return it to the battlefield tap, and it also can't block. So turn 1, he played that. Turn 1, I play a land. Turn 2, he plays swamp, plays 2 more of them. And I go, okay. I draw Duress. I play Duress. See that he has a Liliana in hand. I take the Liliana. He then plays the Liliana he played. Or he drew. And I go, uh-huh.
So is it
Well, it really sounds like you just got outplayed.
I did. I'm not even done yet. So that was game 1, and so he won that game. Because after dealing with the Lily and all that, I was at like 4. So he ended up beating me down. Game 2, I get him. Game 3, I draw 16 of 25 lands in the deck, and he has an enchantment that says skeletons get +1/+0 in haste, and I am at 9. He has 2 skeletons on the field, which are both 3 power, and he top decks a skeleton to kill me, and I go, I hate it here. And then I won the drawing for a Disdainful Stroke, so I made $10, and I said, yay.
Oh, you mean Corpse of the Lost? That's the enchantment.
Yes, Corpse of the Lost. Yep, that's the one. Yep, I knew that.
How big is that skeleton? It sounds honestly like a worse reassembling skeleton.
It's a 1-drop. Yeah, it's okay, I guess. It doesn't block or anything.
It's okay, I guess.
I was just mad. I was mad and sad, and I got the bye round 3, so I just looked through bulk and cried.
Sounds like
so
you
great.
Got out. You just got to get better, Will.
When y'all go 0-2 at events, what is y'all's like comfort? Because I feel like, I don't know if y'all do it, but I always have this comfort thing that I like to do whenever I go 0-2. And my 0-2 is usually I go to the front, and whoever's working, I just make their day worse. I just show up and I just pick up everything, move stuff everywhere, be a real nuisance.
Oh, well, my comfort thing, like 0-2, well, it really depends on if I'm by myself. So if it's like a local thing and I just go by myself, I just go home. I'm just like, okay, this is not the day for me. I'm just going to go home and do something else.
Let's say you're 0-2, but you rode with somebody, so you're stuck there.
Oh, if I'm stuck there, I usually just play it out. Like, I mean, if it's one of the situations where, like, it happens all the time of, like, you go 0-2 or I go, or whoever, let's say I go 0-2 and someone else in the group is, like, undefeated. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just going to play Magic. Like, I'm going to get my money's worth out of coming here. Unless I'm just, like, really super on tilt. Because that's
that time that... Oh, sorry. I'll say, do you remember that time that we both 0-2'd and you went to go find Silent Hill, and we went to 3 stores, right?
Oh,
looking
yeah.
For a copy of Silent Hill, and we
I finally got it. I finally got it.
Yes.
My comfort while Matt's doing that,
showing his bare ass to the stream.
All right, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Hey, I mean, that's not Silent Hill 2. Hang on, look at my ass again really quick.
Look at his ass.
I don't even remember the last time I went 0-2 in a tournament, so I don't even know what my comfort is.
I finally got it.
I'm just kidding.
I finally got it. It's so good.
Nice. What do you have to do for it? We friggin' went to like 3 stores looking for that because he wanted a what did you call a little treat, and that's when we had that conversation.
I wanted a little treat. Yeah, I was.
What is the price point where it becomes a big treat or a regular treat.
So I was thinking about that, and the bar I think is usually how bad I'm feeling maybe about like my deck choice or whatever. Like in that instance, I was like, man, I've tested this and I've gotten like frog. What did I lose to? I lost to like the same deck like 3 times. I think it was Reanimator actually.
That's what happened to me too. I remember
It
we
was
were both just like we were in the salt car for a little bit. So.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I got like Trollakaza, Doom, Miracle, the Metamorphosis Fanatic like 3 times. I was like, I'm done. Just like I was glad that somebody else in the group. I think it was. I can't remember who. I think you had drawn in or something. Or no, you were also not doing
No,
good.
I had the big suck that tournament.
The big suck.
I had the big suck.
It was
so.
Josh that was doing good, wasn't it? Because he top 8'd, I think.
No, it was Kenny.
Kenny.
Okay. He split because he couldn't get the point, so they just split, and then we went to go eat. So
that's right, yeah. So at that point, I was like, I'm not having fun right now. I really want to play Silent Hill, so I'm just going to go see if I can find it at the shop nearby. But other than that, other comfort things, like usually I just play it out, or if I'm like mega super tilted, I just drop and just hang out at that point, or go get food, or go do something else. Like I've said at Eternal Weekend, my O2 drop plan is just going to see Gladiator. So
do
I actually
oh, sorry.
I actually think my actual comfort, because believe it or not, I have O2'd before. I know.
No way. How'd you get through it, dude?
I know. Honestly, I think some of the best comfort is just sharing the bad beats stories with people, especially if Josh is around, because Josh will make you feel like your bad beats are nothing. He'll make you feel like your bad beats are like a walk in the park. So like sharing your bad beat stories with everyone and then hearing everyone else's and hoping someone had worse than you. That's the comfort. That's the real comfort.
What is the worst bad beats y'all have ever had? I know mine, but I'm just kind of curious, like, what is your worst like bad? I remember I went 0-1 drop at a tournament once. I'll go last, but
I don't really have too many like super bad beats. Most of the bad beats that I've been through have been mostly my fault. Just misplays or whatever. The worst, honestly, I can 2 stories are coming to mind right now. One was the last RCQ I played. I was playing Yawgmoth in a modern RCQ, and I had a winning in to top 8 or top 4. I think they cut to top 4 at this one, and my last opponent was playing Burn, and we're in a modern format.
That's a
this
bold
is before
choice.
Foundations. I know. I'm like, surely, no one's playing Burn. Because how the hell does Burn beat Energy? You don't. And Energy's everywhere. I was like, surely no one's playing Burn. I actually, before we went to the tournament, I cut a card in my sideboard for Burn. Because I was like, no one's playing Burn. No one plays Burn. It's 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Except one.
So he's, we're both, I think, 3-1 at this point. And he's like, oh yeah, man, like I just decided to play an RCQ, so I just pulled out the old deck and added a couple cards to it.
That's
and
when you
sure
know
enough,
it's Burn.
Yeah, I was like, sure enough, it's Burn. And if you've ever played Yawgmoth, I mean, Burn is horrible matchup. So that was pretty sucky. The other biggest one probably that I can think of is actually against Will. And we still we still joke about it.
I know the one. Yep.
If you know me, I play Oops all spells. Anywhere I can, I'm playing Oops. So I played Oops in Legacy. I'm playing my own little brew of it that has Reanimate and Entomb and lots of extra discard, like way more than like the normal version. And It's game 3 against Will, and he's on 8 cast. And I've checked his hand. I've checked his hand. He's got nothing. He cracks a single Urza's Bauble on his turn, and then draws a card on my upkeep. I know his hand. He's had 1 draw since the last time I saw it. And so I go for my combo, and his one card, the one card that he drew, is the only card that mattered, because I also had a Pact of Negation in hand, was Fairy Macabre. And oops, can't beat that. So he Fairy Macabres my combo pieces after I do my little combo, and he just kind of slings it on the table because it's his last card in hand, and then I lose.
Nice.
And he goes on to top 8, and I wander around the event hall.
What event was it?
It was at a CCS, like 1K or something.
Oh yeah.
I don't the curse card.
Ever since then I've hated that card.
Oh man,
you bring it up a while, and I looked at it too, and when I drew it, I literally went.
What constitutes a bad beat? Is it it's just your opponent's having the nuts, right? Basically
Stuff like that, where it's just like, okay, I literally have checked their hand, they've had 1 change, and I lose. Like, it's not like, you misplayed or anything like that, but it's just like they just had it.
Oh, okay. Well, then mine is forever and always will be the Legacy Classic in Atlanta. That one is, and I know I've more than likely told this story on the podcast before, but it's okay. I'm going to tell it again anyway, because that story is a stake in my brain. Is going into the last round, I was like X and 2, and it was a long tournament. I think this was like 7 rounds or 8 rounds. It was a long day, and I was like killing it it was Grixis Delver back when Deathrite Shaman was the go-to card for everything basically. And I went to game 3 on the draw. I was on the draw in game 3 against Ant, and I had just game in my hand if I untapped, because I had Force of Will. Let's see, I kept my 7. It was Force of Will, blue card, Daze, Delver, land, Deathrite Shaman, another land. Like, I was set. If I had 1 land drop, I had the lock in. And my opponent goes down to 5. He mulls to 5. So internally, I'm like, I'm gonna make top 8. I'm gonna make top 8 of this Legacy Classic. And he like draws his 5, and he's like, I guess I'll keep this. And he goes, his exact 5 was, it had the ability, I can't remember the exact combination of it, but he had the ability to turn 1 kill me with a duress. So he was able to like duress me, take my force. Actually, I think that's what I think maybe it was like Darkrit, Lotus Petal. No, it was like Ad Nauseam, Darkrit. Oh man, maybe I didn't have force. I'm trying to think of the exact. It was an exact combination of cards where he was able to go off turn 1 and kill me. Maybe I didn't have force. I think it was like I had days, land, threat, another day. Maybe it was 2 days then. It was a hand where I needed 1 turn. I needed a turn to play something, and then I had a dominating presence in my hand, and he was just able to just be like, okay, cool, kill you. And I'm like, man, this is back when I still smoked too. I was like, I got up I put all my stuff back in. I was mad. I wasn't mad at him because he did what the deck was supposed to do, and that's kind of my rule for myself is like if the opponent is respectable and they just have the nuts, whatever. It's a competitive card game. That's what happens. So I wasn't mad at him. I was furious at how the game turned out. So I just quietly put my stuff away in my backpack. I got up. I walked out of the convention hall, and I passed one of my friends going by, and they said, "How was it? How are you doing?" Because he knew I was X2, and I just like shook my head and said, "No." And then he was like, "Oh, geez." And I walked outside, and I smoked 2 or 3 cigarettes back to back, and then I walked back in just in time to look at the standings, and I made 9th place. And I was like, "Man, this is the worst day."
A person did end up going to what, second or first?
I think they got second, actually.
Yeah.
But no, I was happy for him, from that perspective. But that was just so soul crushing.
The best part about it was I remember that was the day that you finished your Underground Seas. It was like, oh,
Yeah,
I can play
it was my third one.
Delver now, and I'm so excited. And the next day, Deathrite Shaman got banned. So that deck
I was like,
went
well,
high.
Okay, yep. That was that's what kind of started the curse. I felt like of like anytime I started to build a deck. Or no, it was before that actually. Anytime I started to build a deck in Legacy, something was going to get banned out of it. Like something was like because it happened with Miracles. I had Miracles built, and then Top got banned, and then I had Grixis Delver built, and then Deathrite Shaman got banned, and then I built Is It Delver, and Ragavan got banned, but it was okay. We had other threats to play, and we also had Expressive Iteration, and then Expressive Iteration got banned, and so now that kind of dovetails into the other topic we were going to talk about. I'm playing blue-black frog in you can call it Dimir Reanimator, Dimir Tempo, whatever you want to call it in Legacy. Frog.deck in Legacy, and I'm also playing Frog in Modern, and that is inevitably going to get banned this December.
Modern. I think it's fine in Modern. Legacy,
yeah. Modern it's fine.
It's so funny because I don't know if you've seen it, but the playmat for Eternal Weekend this year is Psychic Frog.
Oh yeah.
No way.
The artist for Psychic Frog is there. Dude, he needs to get a stamp or his arm is going to just be gone. Just no bones are going to be left in his wrist. It's just all jelly because he does so many staples. It's Pete Venters. He does Psychic Frog. He does
Zur the Enchanter, the original one. He did
Did he do the original art for Frog or the alternate?
Original.
Are they the same? Okay.
He also did Survival of the Fittest.
Yeah, and then he also does what is it? Phyrexian Dreadnought. He does Phyrexian Altar. He does Ensnaring Bridge is another one. Do you know if you go to TCG Player and type in an artist, it'll actually pop up everything?
Oh, actually, here I can put it up. I can pull it up on the viewer really quick.
No.
But I want to.
Wait, Will, we didn't hear your bad beat 01 drop.
Okay, yeah, I'll while you're pulling that up, I'll tell my bad beat story. So my bad beat was just a local event. It wasn't like a big event or anything like that. Because this never happens at big events. Because by the time we're in the big event, these people have lost already. So this person is on Merfolk, all right? And this is back when I played humans, and it's normally a pretty bad matchup because you're both, you're playing humans, they're playing Merfolk. Their Merfolk give unblockable pretty much because of Island Walk. So, they just play Spreading Seas at the time and just, they're able to just get through your creatures. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's not a great matchup. It's fine. So game 1, she gets me. Game 2, I'm going to sideboard. I'm bringing in Dismembers. I'm bringing in like a couple of other creatures to like bounce stuff and whatnot. It's not great, but like I side in and do the best I can. So I keep a hand. It doesn't have Aether Vial in it, but I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just keep it. I go turn 1 Champion of the Paris pass. They go turn 1 Island pass, and I go, okay, cool. Draw an Aether Vial, and I go, okay, cool. I'll play a land. I'm gonna cast Aether Vial, and they play Spell Pierce. They cited in Spell Pierce against my deck that runs four non-creature spells in the main and then a couple in the side. But it's like, okay, yeah, you got me. So the game goes a little bit longer. They have a Lord on the field, and they only have one Lord. And I'm like, okay, cool. I think we're fine because I have a Dismember in hand because I can kill that, and then I can block, and then, start to stabilize. So I go to dismember their creature, and she plays Dive Down. Which, if you don't know what that does, gives it +0/+3 and hexproof.
I'm very familiar with that card, unfortunately.
And I just look at it and I just go, I literally go, yup. I literally go and I go outside where the smokers were. I'm like, I'll tell you later. I'm going home. Like, I can't even hide it. I'm mad. I'm just mad. And I just leave. Leave.
I'm looking at Pete Venner's list actually. He's actually done some pretty good bangers. He did Carnophage. He did Cephalid Illusionist.
Yep, he did. He did. I think
Coffin
he did another
Purge.
piece. Yeah.
What else do we have?
There's some good artist stuff. He does.
Duress. Ensnaring Bridge. The one of the guy that's like screaming while another guy holds his hand over his head. He did Ensnaring Bridge. He did Flame Tongue Kavu. That's a banger.
All you cube drafters. He did Tendrils of Agony.
He did Tendril. Wow, he's done a lot of good stuff. He did Grape Shot.
Yeah. Did he do Grape Shot?
Yeah, he did the original Grape Shot.
How?
So he's got a lot of good stuff actually.
Dude,
did the original Kikijiki.
He's not gonna have an arm after this.
No, yeah.
He's got to have like a stamp or something. This isn't his first event. He's gonna be used to this.
There's some good artists there. Like, I think the person that did Red Elemental Blast is gonna be there as well.
Yeah, this is the same guy that did the Rack, Richard Thomas.
Oh, nice.
So he did.
Your directs to people.
Yeah. They're making their way to Eternal Weekend. I'm hoping.
Dude, Arcade Post isn't gonna be here. It's gonna be so lonely without him.
Is it?
That man is at every event ever.
Oh yeah, the one that does all the tokens, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to feel so bad for Pete also because I have 8 Psychic Frogs that I need to get signed and also a playmat. So I'm just going to go up to him and be like, "Hey, how's your day going?" I'm going to fan out 8 Psychic Frogs and a playmat. Said, "Here, sign all this, please."
Right up and sign this.
Here's my collection. Sign them all.
Ooh, the person that does the original Swords to Plowshare is going to be there too, and Bizarre Baghdad.
Yeah, the Jesus swords.
Ooh.
But
sorry. Did you have a?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna ask. Since this is the first one of these we've done in a while, and with the announcement coming soon. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I want to hear y'all's thoughts on the ban announcement.
Energy's got to go. Energy's got to go. It's horrible.
It's fine for the format.
It's fine for the format. No,
it's fine. Yeah, right.
Fine.
It's
who was it that posted that tournament where like 8 out of 9 matches they played were Energy?
Web. Yeah, the person that the Twitter post was, I think
I was trying to look for the message. I thought it was because it was a Titan player.
Yeah, it was
Canister.
It's like 14 rounds and 12 of them were Energy. Like, oh my god.
Hang on, I'm looking actually because it's not going to be hard to find.
It was 13 matchups. 11 of them were Energy. One was Eldrazi and one was Storm.
Let's see. MTG top 8. They usually post. They're good about posting like the bigger things.
But I think you're right. I think Energy's got to go. I heard someone say, and this is why I asked in the chat the other day. I heard someone say, and I can't remember who it was, that if the ring gets banned, which let's be real, the ring's got to go. If the ring gets banned, then they were like, oh well, if ring is gone, energy's nowhere near as big of a problem.
No.
But I think it's the sentiment of everyone that I know that something from energy still's got to get out of here.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
I'm.
the ring is it's just I don't know. It's just taking away everybody's toy, which is fine. But it's you gotta take away more toys away from energy. Yeah, it's like I don't know.
So let's see.
It's like when the group of kids get in trouble, like because they're fighting over a toy. So you have to take that toy away, but also you have to punish the kid that was hitting the hardest with the toy.
So I'm looking at
Okay.
the results from the SC from SCG Con, the Super Sunday RCQ. So there's a little bit of diversity here. I'll give them that. There's Titan, Boros Energy, Eldrazi Control, 5-color Domain, Eldrazi, Boros Energy, Eldrazi Control, Landless Belcher, Boros Energy, Boros Energy, Boros Energy, Boros Energy, Boros Energy, and Dimir. And that's one of the more diverse ones. That's one of the more quote unquote interesting ones. So it's not good.
Might be a hot take, but I think Modern sucks.
It does.
I don't think it's a hot take at all. It seems to be the common theme with people right now is that they just don't
think
like
it's
Modern.
Ridiculous that Modern was everybody's favorite format, and then they decided, hey, let's print these straight to Modern sets, and it became everyone's least favorite format. And I think it's because Modern used to be a format that didn't rotate, kind of like Legacy, where it's just like, there were the same decks that you could play, you could get into, and then every set maybe added a card, maybe added 2 cards or so. But then when you got into Modern Horizons, honestly, maybe it's just because I didn't see it in Modern Horizons 1. I think Modern Horizons 1 was fine. It added some lands. Hogak was a problem, so once they got rid of Hogak and then Arkham's Astrolabe, it kind of was fine. And it might have been because they were more proactive on bans then. Like I felt like when we hit Modern Horizons 2 was when we got to the phase of let's just see what happens here. Stuff like that.
I kind of think like I before MH3, I was having. I mean, Modern is like my go-to format. That's the one I've enjoyed the most over the years. But after before MH3, I thought it was kind of an okay place, and then MH3 happened, and I think Spike is the one that mentioned it. But like MH3 was so looked forward to. Like people were so excited for MH3. There was so much hype. There's so many cool cards. People are still finding new cool cards to play with from MH3. But all of the hype that everyone had for MH3, for the change up, the new decks, the new archetypes, the new brews, all of it was like shattered because they didn't ban Nadu. And so the whole hype period after MH3 was just like not there because you had to deal with Nadu. And then by the time they finally did deal with Nadu, we had 2 more standard sets to deal with by then. And I think Assassin's Creed was already out, and what I don't remember what set came out during that, but like we had so many new cards from the release of MH3 to like post Nadu, which is during that time no one wanted to play Modern. Like no one wanted to touch it.
Well,
and they took
I'm sorry to cut you off. You can finish.
No, I'm good. I'm about to rant. It's fine.
Well, I was just going to say the unspoken narrative that I think that was behind MH3 was, everybody was thinking like, okay, they've learned their lesson. They've learned their lesson about actually testing these things to see if they're overpowered or not, or if it's going to warp the format. And that was what people were thinking of, like, surely there's not going to be another Ragavan or the Saga type deal, which those cards are tame in comparison to what it is now, and that's how bad it is. It's like everybody was like was thinking like, okay, they've seen how bad this can be. They've seen the gross amount of cards that they've had to ban from these things to just make Modern playable again, and they did not. Like it's I just don't see a world where, unless they push another Modern Horizons out immediately, which is not going to happen, and rotate the nonsense out that's in standard, that's in Modern. I just don't see a world where a significant portion of the energy deck does not get hit by the ban. Like it's Modern is just straight up not fun to play. I was fortunate enough to get the dub for Modern without playing energy somehow, but I'm so glad.
It was cool.
Yes,
You did it as it was cool.
I did it while Nadu was still there.
Yeah, that is an accomplishment.
I do have like a point and a question for you. So my point to the whole Modern Horizons and the rotating Modern and stuff, I feel like there's two sides of the coin. There's people who are like, ooh, bring me back Boomer Modern where I can play the same deck for 15 years. But then there's also people like for me, like I love the Modern Horizons sets. I love when these new sets come out, completely warp the format. We get to see decks that have never been seen before. We get to see fucking Mono Blue Belcher is like a menace in the format right now. That's hilarious to me. Like we have Basking Brood Scale combos. We've got really weird things happening in the format. But again, kind of to Matt's point, they're all kind of being overshadowed still by energy because they just refuse to do anything.
Well, like right now, I think energy is over 30% of the meta. So if you take that out, if you take out Boros Energy, Mardu Energy, whatever, I think it'd be fun. I think it'll be a good format. So
yeah, I love the like the new brews, the new decks, the new cards, the new ideas that come with quote unquote rotating Modern cards that have never seen play before, like Blade of the Blood Chief, just kind of coming out of the woodworks because we had, a switch up like that. But I guess Will kind of already answered it, but I was going to say ask you guys, what do you think needs to happen in Modern for it to be like a good format again? Like in my mind, kind of what Will said, if energy gets under control, then I think outside like what Will said, outside of energy, like we have such a massive diversity of decks that are playable right now. But I guess how much of that do you think changes hopefully when the ring gets banned in December? How much of that do you think changes? How much of that do you think like still needs to be like energy getting a hit? Are other decks gonna need to be hit after the ring? Like what do you guys think?
Well, my answer to how to make Modern fun again is really simple, but it's never going to happen. Is just stop making Modern Horizon sets. And I see what you're saying, and I agree that like it is cool when there are new decks that pop up in Modern. But what made it cool was when that stuff happened organically. Like the last time that I remember that happening was Eldrazi, which that's a bad example, I know, because Eldrazi turned out to be incredibly oppressive to the point where they had to ban Eye of Ugin. But
well, you can the same kind of thing happened with like Death Shadow. It's like the card's been in the format forever, but it just randomly won Pro Tour.
Oh yeah, it
came up with like domain or like almost zoo, like domain zoo with Death Shadow, suicide
unalive zoo, or however the algorithm wants us to say that. That was the first instance of that deck. And then it evolved into Jund Shadow and then Grixis Shadow, which was like the height of that deck's thing. And I love that deck. I think that is such a fun deck and such a rewarding deck to get good with. Because it's so difficult.
I agree. I do think like I guess like I see your point that like when standard sets, in old Modern before Horizon sets, all of these cards were eventually like slowly being discovered because new cards in standard were being created and whatever. And someone out there in the Magic verse was like finding the connections and kind of bringing it to the light. But then like Modern Horizons comes out and it kind of like it does all of that but on like turbo speed.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to figure it out really fast.
You're not you were not I'm trying to think of a good way to say this. You're not like slowly accelerating the car. You are injecting it with NOS basically, and that's the problem. So that's basically what my solution is just you don't even ban anything. Don't like do anything like grand sweeping, like ban all of the Modern Horizons formats. Just ban what you need to make energy less of a threat that it already is. Go ahead, get rid of the One Ring because nobody likes that card. I'm sorry, nobody enjoys that card. But and then just after that, just quit. Just quit making Modern Horizons sets. That's all you need to do. And the format will develop and shape back up to what it kind of used to be. And it's so funny now because the litmus test for Modern years and years ago was if you could beat Burn. That was the way to determine if a deck was a contender in Modern. I was like, can it beat Burn? And if it couldn't beat Burn, then it probably either needed some work or it was not a good deck. Now,
Yeah,
the bar is so high that you can't there's really not a room for innovation. Yeah. So yeah, energy needs to go. In Legacy, I guess that kind of pivots to the big cool thing coming up in one couple of days is we're on the eve of Eternal Weekend, and
my mom's gonna ground me. So family helps out family and whatnot, and my mom offered to drive us to the airport, so I confirmed that, hey, are you still good with driving us? She goes, oh yeah, I can do that. And I go, okay, it's gonna be a little early. She goes, okay, what time do I need to pick you up? Like what, 10 a.m.? And I go,
oh no.
3:50. Our flight leaves at 5:20 in the morning. And she went, oh. And I was like, I'll Uber, it's fine. She'll go, no, I'll go, I'll do it. And I'm like, okay, also I need you to take 2 of my friends too. And she goes, okay.
You can't tell your mom you'll just Uber. Of course she's not gonna let you do that.
It's fine. I was fine with it. I was just like, yeah.
But
she's like, so I need to be there at what, 3:50 a.m. or so? And I go, yeah.
I am very curious to see. I mean, I'm curious, but at the same time, I'm not curious. Like last year at Eternal Weekend, the deck to beat was Beans deck. Beans was everywhere. That was like the breakout weekend for Beans. This weekend is, I mean, I'm going to be a trailblazer and say that Psychic Frog and Eldrazi are probably going to run the tables this weekend. So I think
the 3, well, there's a few decks that are, I think if you need a plan for Dimir Reanimator or Dimir Tempo. There's 2 different versions of it, and they both play very differently. Then you need to prepare for Eldrazi, and the deck that's been beating both of those is Prison.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to prepare. You need to keep a Blood Moon count of how many times you get mooned this weekend.
How many moons are you guys playing?
2.
I think 2 actually. 2. I have a Moon Effect. I have Harbinger. I'm either going to be on Reanimator or I'm going to be on Dimir Tempo. I haven't decided yet. I have Reanimator sleeved up and completed. So what I'm probably going to do is play on Thursday, like a couple of the challenges on Reanimator, and just see how it feels. And if it just feels abysmal and I'm just not having a good time playing it, then I'm just going to go back to playing tempo because like I know how to play tempo. I don't feel like I need to, you know.
I think you're a tempo player. I do think that Reanimator is the best deck right now. But if you're not comfortable with it, just switch to tempo. I think you'll do fine.
Yeah. No, I will happily play tempo in the main event if that's what the cards quite literally are showing me is like tempo is a better pick than Reanimator. Then I'll just do that. But I'm going to try my hand at Reanimator and see how it does.
You want to hear the decks that are above my deck choice for Eternal Weekend? Because my decks do have lists now, which are 8-cast and Teamer Rhinos. So those are my babies. So here are some of the decks that have better ratings than them. Riddlesmith combo.
Ooh.
Let's see. Food Chain, Coveted Jewel combo, Blue Oracle combo, which is Thought Lash.
Yeah.
Esper Vial.
Oops, all spells.
Hang on. Mono Black Reanimator.
What?
Yep. Yep. Let's see what else is on this list.
Oh, hey, look, there's creative technique.
Oops is above there. You are above me. Let's see what else is above Hargit's list. Okay, those are the only ones above it, but we do have the same number of wins as Mono Blue Tempo, Jeskai Vial, Bant Stoneblade, Whole Day Echo Stompy.
Is this supposed to be like in favor of your decks?
Or... Oh, I'm winning Eternal Weekend.
I feel like you're just saying words at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what the last ones you said.
Hey, I have the same win amount as World Gorger Dragon combo, so I want to hear it. Yeah, and Boros Initiative, which apparently fell off. Who knew?
The
goblin.
But yeah, so we're all excited for Eternal Weekend. We are going to do a follow up on that and kind of debrief on it.
Argert's been getting into a new format, which is friggin' crazy, but we're not getting into standard, which I mean we are getting into standard, but we're gonna start dabbling in pre-modern a little bit because it looks fun and it's the only thing safe from Universes Beyond.
Yeah, both you and Johnny play that, right? Y'all both play pre-modern?
I have not yet.
You've not yet. Okay.
I actually have Rock built, which is it looks fun. I mean, you get to play some powerful cards and some not so powerful cards. I play Wall of Roots, I play Birds of Paradise, and my 4-drop slot is Blastoderm. Do you know what that is?
No, I do not.
It's a 4-mana 5/5 with Fading 3. Do you know what Fading is?
I think you're making up words again.
So wait, fading is okay. Hang on. So fading is that's at the beginning of your upkeep. You remove a counter from it, and then when the last counter is removed, it's like exiled from the game. Is that what it is?
It's sacrificed.
Sacrifice. Okay.
Yep. It's a 4-drop 5/5 with that, and also Shroud. And then I also get to play some bangers like Deranged Hermit, which let me tell you that was expensive. It's a 5-drop with Echo. That when it comes into play, you make 4 squirrel tokens, and then all squirrels get +1/+1. And then hang on, what else do I have?
Oh, that's just expensive because of EDH. I would imagine.
Yeah, I think so. It's a reserve list. Also, you get to play Cabal Therapy, which if you were me, you probably shouldn't play Cabal Therapy because I can't name you cards. They play freaking Reanimator, and I go, oh, I better pick something. I don't know what. You don't want to know what Reanimator's big thing is?
Well, like Exhume or something?
No. The creatures they go for.
Oh, the creatures?
The creatures.
What, like
creature feature. Featuring the creature.
Think real bad, Matt. Think real bad.
Really bad creatures that you could target with Reanimate.
Really bad creatures.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many. Can you give me a multiple choice?
I've got you. Okay. Let's see. No, me either.
Okay. So
Here-
the big creature that like is like the go-to is a Chroma, 5/3 white.
Okay.
It's like wall of text, flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, pro, black and red. But you run things like Phantom Nishoba, which if you don't know what that does,
I've
it's a
heard of
7-drop.
one.
It's a 7-drop beast spirit with trample. It comes into play with 7/+1 counters. Whenever it deals damage, you gain that much life. And if it were to be dealt damage, prevent that damage and remove a +1 counter from it. So that's a target.
It's so bad.
And then you have Multani, the original Multani, which is a 6-drop, has power toughness equal to the total number of cards in all players' hands. And then it can't be the target of spells or abilities, so it's got Shroud. And then you have Visara the Dreadful, which is a 6-drop 5/5 flying, which tap destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. So that's Reanimator.
Or
This does sound pretty wild.
and the deck that I haven't built a pre-modern deck, but if I do, it's gonna
Coward.
be okay. It's gonna be Reanimator sort of, but it's gonna be more like Goryo's. Because you have, I was asking Will about this earlier actually. There's a card called Croson Cloudscaper. It's a 10 mana, 13/13. You can morph it for 9 mana. And then it says at the beginning of your upkeep, you have to sacrifice it unless you pay 2 green. But then you also have a card, the actual target is called Sutured Ghoul. It is 7 mana, trample. It says, as it enters the battlefield, exile any number of creature cards from your graveyard, hopefully a couple of Croson Cloudscapers. And then Sutured Ghoul's power is equal to the total power of exiled cards, and its toughness is equal to their total toughness. So you exile a couple Cloudscapers and swing for like a bajillion. So those are a little better than Phantom Nishoba.
Are you sure?
No.
Yep.
Oh man. I'm not above playing pre-modern. I might try it out and just see what it's like. I mean, at this point, I'm feeling like I feel like that's kind of becoming the eventuality, is just because like all the formats are starting to suck. With maybe the exception of standard, which I am also planning on building this weekend.
Ooh, yeah. Let's talk about standard because I'm excited.
No.
About
Yes,
standard.
please.
I'm
Yes.
excited about
I love
standard.
skeletons. I can't do it. It hurts me.
Why don't you
Let's
just
talk
play
about pre-modern.
skeletons?
Talk about pre-modern. This deck, the top deck is $80, and the second tier 2 decks are $2,000.
No one cares about it. No one cares about pre-modern.
Like
Will
this format. I love it.
no one cares about it?
Everyone cares about
pre-modern.
it.
Pre-modern isn't real.
Dude, you can play elves. You know
You
what
can play
elves plays? Elves
can play-
run Squee. It
you can
runs
play-
Squee.
You can play elves in standard. Will you can play elves in standard?
Can you play Masticore in standard?
I don't know what that is.
Do you know what
On-
Kamal
Will-
first fist of Crow? Yes.
Will, listen.
Yes.
I hate to be this guy,
No, you
but
don't.
based
You
on
love
some
this guy.
based on some of the decks that I've seen for pre-modern, I kind of feel like most decks in standard would be pre-modern decks.
That's not what it's about. It's not what it's about. You're right, okay? You know how much powerful freaking God, what's that card? The freaking Deep Cavern Bat is compared to Nishoba
yeah.
Panther.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Also, you have a Traxa in standard right now. What does Nishoba, whatever the fuck it's called, do against a Traxa? Like,
Look
so
at
anyway,
the deck list closer.
so-
There's an
let me
answer in
find
here
it
somewhere.
out.
Hey, Llanowar Waste is legal in both formats. I just want to point that out.
But Llanowar Elves is only legal in standard.
No, it's legal in pre-modern also.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
It was
You're
printed
right.
in pre-modern.
Okay, all right. Well,
I
that's
don't know. I haven't seen a list actually run it. Hang on.
okay. So
Hang
you have
on,
no
let me
idea.
find it. Let me
You
find
have
it.
no
Yes,
idea.
it's there. It's in there. It is in there. It is in there.
Okay, all right. Well, anyways,
I will admit I'm slightly disappointed in the way that that Standard is heading, only because the deck that I really, really wanted to play, that I really wanted to build, it looks like is just slowly getting like just outpaced by everything in the format. I
Boros burn.
No, 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 no. I did not want it. I was going to build that out of necessity, not because I wanted to. But
Faster.
I really wanted to build domain overlords or just domain. But every
It's a fun choice.
every time I look at I mean, I might like every time I look at the deck list though, it just like it keeps getting like lower and lower and lower.
it seems
and
like
lower.
it seems like domain. I think like with the new presence of like the Boros burn deck, domain has had to change a lot because like you're not gonna beat it how it used to be built. But I feel like they're playing like this one's they're playing more Angel of Wrath and Beezas or whatever they're called.
They're playing
To,
they're playing the 04 or 05 wall too that gives you hexproof also.
ooh, I've not seen that.
Yeah, it's from Foundations.
Spicy.
It's like an 05 or an 04, and it's like I can't remember if it says you have hexproof or it says like prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to you. So that's kind of like you're like, okay, I don't want to lose to burn, bam.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then they have to just remove that in order to push through, which seems really good.
Was Lyra Dawnbringer reprinted in Foundations?
Yes. It was.
Oh, that's
Foundations
sick.
is wild because of the what is it, the starter collection? That thing has some bangers in it. It's why
I still don't know like what's in Foundations, but
you have 5 years to learn it.
Crystal Barricade, Matt. That's the card you're thinking of.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I think that
prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control, and you have hexproof. That's pretty good against burn.
I might still build it. I like that's also the other thing too. I just have modern burn rotting in my backpack right now.
Yeah, that's true. But to be fair, so I have been playing.
No, you haven't.
This Simic Crabs deck, sort of. It's Saffron Olive played it on MTG Goldfish a little while ago, and since then it's been upgraded to like the Teamer Flood Caller deck, the combo deck. And I thought about playing that one, but it's extremely complicated. There's tons of different lines. I just watched Corey Baumeister play it today, and he compared it to modern Grinding Breach, and yeah, that's just too much for me to care about Standard, I think. But all of these cards are legal in Standard for like 15 years, so
yeah.
If I did learn it, it'd probably be smart. But
I don't know if they'll have it. But last time we were at Eternal Weekend, they used to sell these complete sets of a set. I got a set of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. It's only one each, but like it's a good start.
It's a good starter.
Foundations would be a really good one to get.
Yeah,
like I said, if you're gonna get into Standard, you might as well pick up a playset or not playset at least.
Yeah, that's
as many of these cards as possible.
That's that's part of the reason why I wasn't like busting down the door trying to get pre-orders in before everything, because I was like, this stuff is going to be in for 5 years. Like I'm going to have a chance to get them. Like I'm going to be. How old am I going to
be? You don't have to rush.
I'm going to be
20.
God, I'm going to be I'm going to be like halfway to 40.
Yeah, you're old.
That's like, oh man. I don't want to think about that. That just made me depressed.
2030 is not a real year. It can't hurt you.
Oh man. We're going to get the second Foundation set, or the second Foundation set will rotate out when I'm 40. That's so horrible. Oh, that's so bad.
Well, on the next podcast,
you're old.
Yeah. That's
we're like the same age, but it's okay.
Just like this is the end of the podcast. It's just like it's okay. Now we're sad.
Nah, I'm Asian. I'm gonna look like this for.
No, once you get to a certain age, I have just found once you get to a certain age, just existential crisis has just become like a daily thing. You just kind of get used to them. They come and go.
The 10 a.m. scheduled existential crisis followed by 11 a.m. meetings.
My daily appointed existential crisis. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Just check that off the list.
Sorry guys, I'm busy today at 11.
Sorry today.
I have to dread for a bit.
I'm sorry. I was staring. I had to push my staring into the abyss to 12. I got lunch with a client, you know. But
Can they join for that, or is that like considered like bad business practice?
Could they what?
Is that considered bad business practice to like ask them to join in your existential crisis? Like,
oh.
Lemon say probably.
Yeah, probably.
You know what? It won't give you an existential crisis. Pre-modern.
You know, and that might be what pushes me to that
like,
format.
Well, you could run Treetop Village. You remember when you played this in Dun?
I do remember that.
Look at it.
I remember that.
Also, you could run cards like, hang on.
The 3/3/8 with trample for
You
one
want
and
to
a
see
green.
what I'm most excited to play? It's Ravenous Bailoff. You know what this card does?
No, I don't.
You can't read it.
I can't. No. What does it say?
You can't read this.
It looks like it's glaring, like the fucking sun will.
That's what
of course,
it says.
We can't read it.
That's you don't really need to read
it. It doesn't have. It's just a 4-mana nothing card.
The 4-mana 4/4 sacrifice a beast. You gain 4 life, and itself is a beast. So if they try to kill it, you sack it and gain 4 life.
This just sounds like more expensive Pauper. The more and more I hear about it.
It's even better because you can play Survival of the Fittest.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the creator of it basically said that he wants it to be like cards that don't really shine in Legacy, that still like can shine other places. Like Recurring Nightmare is in this set. Or in this format.
Oh, so what Commander used to be, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Imagine like Commander, but like good.
Okay, well don't worry. Wizards will see to that when they pick it up. They'll fuck it up somehow. Don't worry.
Pre-modern Horizons.
You're like
no! If you look at Dominaria Remastered, that was basically a pre-modern set. Like half the cards printed are good in pre-modern.
All right. Well, I think
we're. If you ask me in about 3 months, I'm gonna be like, "What is pre-modern?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like Matt, if you want to do what I'm doing,
are you making notes?
I'm waiting till after Eternal Weekend to see if anyone still gives a shit about pre-modern. Because I feel like because what happened,
and then we won't.
Because what happened is Drew was like, "Ooh, let's play pre-modern at Eternal Weekend," and then everyone else is like, "Ooh,
going to Eternal
let's." I thought he was going.
He's not.
But before that, it was Penny Dreadful too. That he was all about Penny Dreadful.
He wouldn't stop talking about Penny Dreadful.
I have a great idea. We should get into $30 vintage because you can do the funniest thing ever. Where if you get bad beats to a deck, you can just buy out a card, and then you can't play their deck anymore because the deck went up.
Oh, I would love to play vintage, but that is that I am going to have
$30
vintage. Yeah.
There's too many formats that you guys are trying to get into right now. I just built a Pauper deck. Like, what am I doing?
Why are you building Pauper? Who's playing Pauper?
I don't know. I thought we were going to a team tournament, so I built a Pauper deck, and then no one wanted to go.
Yeah, I wanted to go, but we couldn't find another person to go. That's not my fault.
Okay.
Don't blame me.
Anyways, pre-modern is low on the list. I gotta figure.
Cute.
So Matt, what else? Oh, you were talking about the burn deck in standard, and I did have one note on the burn deck.
Okay.
It doesn't seem that scary. I've played against it several times. I think I've lost to it one time. But like, it doesn't like it is good. It is good, obviously. Like it's very good. But I personally, I think if you're gonna do that, like the prowess decks seem way scarier.
Mm-hmm.
With a lot more of the pump effects and stuff. I don't know.
That-
The burn deck just doesn't seem like I'm getting shocked at the end of my turn. Like what? Like that's not scary.
Yeah, like I like
It is if you're at 3.
the reason. Well, when I was looking at all the lists, like Dimir, I guess I'm just kind of burnt out on playing Dimir. Like I just want to play a different color combination because huh?
You want to play? Yeah, I think
Jund?
you want to go back to Jund. Yeah, think
I
you
would
wanna go
love.
back to Jund.
I would love to play Jund again. Like that's one of the things that I watched streams of the domain control list or domain overlords, whatever you want to call it, and that deck looks so much fun. Because you just play beans, you draw a card, then you impending like the Overlord of the Hauntwoods, and then you get to draw a card off that because its converted mana cost is 5. You get a land out of it that now you can play Leyline for 1, and then you draw a card when you play that. Like it just looks so much fun, just constant value out of it. So that's what I was really tempted of building. I might still build it depending on how things go over the weekend and how many lists get updated. If it's still putting up decent performance, I might just go ahead and pull the trigger on it because I'm going to need the lands anyway.
Or you could play Maze's End.
Could play Maze's End. I could play.
No.
I could be a total what's the word I'm looking for? Hipster and just do the Maze's End plan.
Why is Mazes in hipster?
Oh, I found the Maze's End player. Are you building
look,
Maze's End?
Look, you should have expected it from me. Okay, it's basically caves.
I was trying to find you a Jund list, and let me tell you, there are lists.
There are.
they exist.
It is one of the lists of all time.
No, I've not one of the lists. 2 of the lists of all time.
2 of the lists of all
wait,
time.
wait, no, just 1. That one's 4 color. Okay, hang on.
I've been playing
one list that went 1-3 10K.
You can fix it, Matt. You can fix it.
It runs 4 Mossborn Hydras, if you know what that card does.
Oh, I know. That's double the counter one, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's
Everybody.
sick.
Yeah, no, I think it's a cool card too.
It's called Golgari Ramp when you click it. Oh no. Hang on, I'll keep looking.
Okay.
We'll go to bed.
Yeah, I think we'll probably call it there. We're right at an hour, and I want to be able to get this episode up before we depart tomorrow. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into editing this. But I'm very excited. But
I found Judgment Race. Never mind. There's 5 decks. We're good.
Look at all those. Look at all those. All the gates.
All the gates.
Wait,
gates.
Jonathan, I have something to show you before you leave.
Doesn't do anything to gates.
yeah. Can't stop my mazes in.
Exile your mazes in because of too.
All right. Well, as always, the best part about Magic is the gathering, and we will see all of you, and Pre-Modern, we will see all of you on the next video. Bye-bye.